good afternoon everyone. So today we will be tackling about the physiologic changes of aging in cardiovascular. So first is we're going to have our overview of our cardiovascular system. So ang function sa atong cardiovascular system is to make sure that our body gets the oxygen, gets the nutrients, and other things nga kanang iyahang kinahanglan, and also to get rid of the things na di na kinahanglan sa ato ang body. So ang atong cardiovascular system, it has some components, which is the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. So we're going to tackle this one by one. So first is we have our heart, atong kasing-kasing. So the heart, it is a muscular organ located in the chest cavity. So as we all know, the heart has four chambers, which is the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. So ang function ani ato ang heart is, of course, it pumps blood throughout the body. So mo na siya ang gitawag nga circulation. So it has two main circuits, which is the pulmonary circulation and the systemic circulation. So kaning pulmonary circulation, mo ni siya ang katong ang right side sa heart is mag-pump of the oxygenated blood padulong sa lungs through the pulmonary arteries. And then pag-abot sa lungs, ang carbon dioxide exchange siya for oxygen. So ang katong oxygen-rich blood mubalik din siya sa left side sa atong heart through the pulmonary veins. And then ang systemic circulation, the left side of the heart, katong pump of oxygenated na blood to the rest of the body through the aorta and other arteries. So kaning blood mag-deliver na sa oxygen and nutrients sa atong tissues and organs, and then mabalik tayo ang deoxygenated blood padalong sa right side sa atong heart through the veins. Okay, and then next is we have our blood vessels. So kaning blood vessels, it composes of three. So we have our arteries, capillaries, and veins. So kani atong artery, mo ni siya ang katong mga thick-walled vessels na mag-carry ang oxygen-rich nga blood away sa atong heart padulong sa ato ang body tissue. And then arteries are also the largest artery is the aorta, which branches into smaller arteries and then eventually into arterioles. So kaning capillaries, mo ni siya ang tiny thin-walled blood vessels na mag-connect sa ato ang arterioles to venules. So these capillaries facilitate the exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and waste products between blood and tissues. And then we have our veins. These vessels carry the oxygenated blood back to the heart, and then veins have thinner walls than the arteries and often contain valves to prevent backflow. So the largest veins are the superior and inferior vena cava, which return blood to the right atrium of the heart. And next is we have our blood, of course. So composition, so blood is composed of the plasma, the liquid portion, and then red blood cells, which carries oxygen, white blood cells, which is responsible for our immune function, and then the platelets, which is involved in our kanang clotting, pag-clot sa ato ang dugo. And then the function of these is, of course, it transports, it carries blood, blood carries oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and waste products throughout the body. And also it protects ato ang white blood cells. White blood cells protect against infection, and platelets help with blood clotting. And then of course, blood helps regulate body temperature, pH levels, and fluid balance. So ang ato ang cardiovascular system, it is also responsible for our regulation of blood flow. So kani siya, atong cardiovascular system is regulated by various mechanisms, including sa ato ang autonomic nervous system, hormones, ug atong kidneys. So kaning mga mechanism, they ensure that blood flow meets the body's needs, such as increasing flow during exercise or reducing it during rest. So that is it. That is the overview of our cardiovascular system.
So now I'm going to tackle about the normal changes of aging. So as people age, the cardiovascular system undergoes several changes, even in the absence of disease. So here are some normal changes of the cardiovascular system. First is the heart muscle thickening. The walls of the heart, particularly sa left ventricle, can thicken as a response sa pag-increase sa iyang workload over time. This thickening can lead to a reduction in the heart's ability to fill properly during systole. So as we age, this thickening is a natural response sa atong heart nga sige work harder over the years. Then imagine it's like a muscle that gets bigger when you exercise it. But in this case, it's the heart adjusting to a lifetime of pumping blood. However, this thickening can reduce the heart's ability to feel properly during the relaxation phase, known as diastole, so which can impact the overall heart function. And second is stiffening of blood vessels, or atong ginatawag na arteriosclerosis. So blood vessels, particularly arteries, become less elastic with age. This stiffening can cause an increase in systolic blood pressure and make it harder for the heart to pump blood against the higher resistance. This condition, known as arteriosclerosis, causes the vessels to stiffen. And third is reduced maximum heart rate. With age, the maximum heart rate during exercise decreases. This is partly due to a decline in the responsiveness of the heart to sympathetic nervous system stimulation. So, as we age, this happens because our hearts become less responsive to the signals from the nervous system that tell it to beat faster. For example, if you were able to reach a certain heart rate when you were younger, you might find it challenging to hit the same number as you get older, even if you're just as active. So fourth is decreased cardiac output. So decreased cardiac output, this is the ability to pump blood decreases with age, especially during physical activity. This is due to reduced efficiency in heart muscle contraction and decreased response to adrenergic stimulation. Ability sa atong heart na mo pump og blood, which tends to decrease with age. So normally change gid siya over time as we age. And this reduction called the decreased cardiac output. And this is why adults might feel fatigue during activities that they used to do easily. Fifth is the changes in heart valves. The heart valves, particularly the aortic and mitral valves, may thicken and calcify with age. This can lead to stenosis. Stenosis is ang pagnarrow or regurgitation, backflow. Though these changes are often mild. Over time, the heart valves which are responsible sa pagkontrol of blood flow through the heart and may thicken and become less flexible. This is particularly true for the aortic and mitral valves. These changes, mo na siya ang lead sa condition na stenosis. So this is particularly where the valve doesn't open fully, or regurgitation, where it doesn't close properly, allowing blood to flow backward. Although these changes are often mild, they can contribute to heart murmurs or other heart-related symptoms. And sixth is slower heart rate. The natural pacemaker of the heart, the sinoatrial node, may lose some of its cells with age, leading to slower resting heart rate. So as we age, the sinoatrial node may lose some of its cells. This can cause the heart to become beat more slowly, a condition known as the bradycardia. Then, increased incidence of arrhythmias. Older adults are more prone in irregular heartbeats due to changes in the heart's electrical system. These arrhythmias can range from benign to more serious condition. So, older adults are more likely sila nga maka-experience of irregular heartbeats. This occur due to the changes in heart electrical system as we age. While some arrhythmias are harmless, others might be more serious and require medical attention. This increased risk is a normal part of aging, but can be managed with a proper care. So, last, we have reduced baroreceptor sensitivity. So, the baroreceptors, mani siya ang gatabang pag-regulate sa blood pressure, become less sensitive with age. This can lead to less stable blood pressure, especially upon standing orthostatic hypotension. These become less sensitive as we get older. These receptors are like pressure sensors that keep our blood pressure stable. But with age, pag matigulang na, they reduce sensitivity na makalid to less stable blood pressure, especially when standing up quickly. This is why ang kasagaran sa mga older adults might feel dizzy or lightheaded when they stand up too fast. So, these changes, ang kini mga changes na akong gi-tackle about, are considered part ni siya sa normal aging process. Through they can make the cardiovascular system more susceptible to disease.
The cardiovascular system is deeply interconnected with other physiological systems in the body. Here's how changes in the cardiovascular system can interact with and affect other systems. Number 1. Respiratory system. Interaction. The cardiovascular system works closely with the respiratory system to supply oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. Blood is when oxygenated in the lungs and then transported throughout the body. Effects of change. If the cardiovascular system is compromised, the lungs may not receive adequate blood flow, leading to a buildup of fluid. This can cause shortness of breath and decrease oxygen exchange. Then, number 2, renal system. Interaction. The kidneys regulate blood pressure and volume by filtering blood and excreting waste. They also respond to signals from the heart and blood vessels. The effects of change is high blood pressure can damage the kidneys over time, leading to chronic kidney disease. Conversely, kidney failure can result in fluid overload, raising blood pressure and putting additional strain on the heart. Then, number 3, nervous system interaction. The autonomic nervous system controls the heart rate and blood vessel tone, adjusting them accordingly to the body's need. The brain requires a constant supply of oxygen-rich blood to function properly. So, the effects of change, a disrupt in cardiovascular system such as a stroke, can lead to immediate and potentially permanent nervous system damage. On the other hand, nervous system disorders can lead to abnormal heart rate and blood pressure. Then, number 4, endocrine system interaction. Hormones from the endocrine system like adrenaline or cortisol influence heart rate, blood pressure, and blood vessels tone. The cardiovascular system also plays a role in distributing hormones throughout the body. Effects of changes, endocrine disorders such as hyperthyroidism can cause the heart to beat too fast or irregularly, leading to cardiovascular issues like atrial fibrillation. Conversely, cardiovascular disease can disrupt the normal hormonal balance, such as in heart failure, where the body's stress response leads to harmful chronic activation of the renin-angiotensin system. Then number 5, the musculoskeletal system interaction. The musculoskeletal system relies on a steady supply of oxygenated blood to function during physical activity. Blood vessels also help regulate heat exchange during exercise. The effects of changes, poor cardiovascular health can lead to reduced blood flow to muscles, resulting in a fatigue and weakness. Conditions like peripheral artery disease, where blood flow to limbs is restricted, can severely impair mobility. Then 6, digestive system interaction. The digestive system depends on blood supply to absorb nutrients and deliver them to cells. The cardiovascular system also helps regulate blood flow to the digestive organs during periods of rest and activity. Then, effect of change, poor circulation can lead to ischemic conditions in digestive tract, such as menstrual ischemia, where parts of the intestines do not receive enough blood, causing pain and potentially leading to tissue death. Number 7, interaction. The cardiovascular system transports immune cells and molecules throughout the body to sites of infection or injury. Effects of change. Cardiovascular disease can impair the immune system by reducing the efficiency of immune cells transport, increasing the risk of infection. Additionally, chronic inflammation in cardiovascular disease such as atherosclerosis is an immune response that can further damage blood cells and heart tissues. Then 8, integumentary system or the skin interaction. The cardiovascular system helps regulate body temperature by controlling blood flow to the skin. Effects of change. Poor circulation can lead to skin conditions such as ulcers or delayed wound healing. In severe cases, cardiovascular problems can result in cyanosis, where the skin turns blue due to lack of oxygen. In summary, the cardiovascular system is central to the functioning of the entire body, and changes in this system can spread effects on other physiological systems. Maintaining cardiovascular health is crucial for the overall well-being of the body.
So, good morning everyone. This time, we'll tackle about the age-related cardiovascular diseases and its effects to functional ability of older adults. First, we have the condition of atherosclerosis. So this involves the accumulation of fats, cholesterol, and other substances on the artery walls, forming plaque that can narrow the arteries and restrict blood flow. It is a buildup of plaques na makarestrict sa blood flow magkadugay. So once these plaques will rupture, it causes blood clots, which then impairs the normal blood flow of the blood. Atherosclerosis may cause chest pain or pressure, though symptoms do not often appear until arteries are significantly narrowed or blocked. Now, moving on to its effects to the functional ability to older adults. So first, we have reduced physical stamina because kaning obstruction leads to decreased oxygen supply. Kaya na naman siya yung plaque build-up sa arteries. So this results in fatigue, weakness, and reduced endurance, making it difficult for older adults to perform daily activities such as walking and climbing the stairs. Next, we also have impaired cognitive function. There is an obstruction of the normal blood flow. This affects the older adult's ability to manage daily tasks, medications, and self-care. Lastly, we have risk for fall. So next, we have the coronary artery disease or CAD. This involves the narrowing or blockage of the coronary arteries that supply oxygen-rich blood to the heart. Over time, plaque consisting of fatty deposits and cholesterol builds up in these arteries, reducing blood flow to the heart muscle. Medyo similar sila sa atherosclerosis. Ang difference lang nila is that ang cause sa coronary artery disease is ang kadtong atherosclerosis. Ang iyang effects to older adults, we have first is exercise intolerance. They feel chest pain. So this causes shortness of breath during physical activity. Next, we have reduced mobility due to reduced physical capacity and discomfort during movement. Next, we have the cognitive decline due to reduced blood flow of the brain. Lastly, we have dependence. Now, for number 3, we have heart arrhythmia. It is an abnormal heartbeat that can be too fast, too slow, or irregular. Ang iyang effects, we have decreased exercise tolerance. This can cause dizziness, palpitations, and shortness of breath, which leads to reduced ability to engage in physical activities. Risk for fall siya because, again, due to the dizziness or fainting spells. Next, we have cognitive impairment. This can cause a reduced blood flow padulong sa brain. And lastly, we have fatigue and weakness. Now, let's proceed to the congestive heart failure. It is a chronic condition where the heart is unable to pump up blood effectively to meet the body's needs, leading to a buildup of blood in areas like lungs, legs, and feet. So this condition can be caused by underlying issues such as kidney disease, coronary artery disease, and age-related changes in the heart and blood vessels. Its effects to older adults is fatigue and weakness. Next, we have exercise intolerance. This limits their ability to engage in physical activities. Number 3, we have difficulty with daily activities. Lastly, we have the shortness of breath or dyspnea. Ang blood is maadto sa lungs, so may chances na ay pulmonary congestion. Now, we have hypertension. So high blood pressure occurs when the force of blood against artery walls is consistently too high, leading to damage over time, particularly in older adults with stiffer and less elastic vessels. So ang effects niya to functional ability to older adult is first we have vision problems because high blood pressure can damage the blood vessels at ang eyes. Next is reduced physical activity. Hypertension causes dizziness and shortness of breath, so reduce ang iyahang physical activity. Lastly, we have the cognitive decline. So that would be all for our age-related cardiovascular diseases and its effects to the functional abilities of older adults. So please remember that the mentioned diseases are only few of the many cardiovascular diseases that most of our older adults experience. So it is important that we do our part and do further research in order to help improve the quality care given to our older adults.